You have revenge prawn. That ends up filed. You have Keanu. Apparently they had a call from the police wanting to follow up on what happened because of this stuff right here. So let's play this.
199 says, how nice was Kayla's rack? She was beautiful. I will say that. She was a beautiful
But
girl.
the tattoo on the right, not a fan of tattoos on the...
Oh, the rosebud or whatever that was.
I just saw part of it in the mugshot. What? Come on. Not say, please. And I can say this because I'm a supermodel. You know, I can judge other people. I'm just saying not a fan of the tattoo on the tip. That's all.
I mean, that's well, here, give me 1 second here.
Oh, here we go. And what is it while you're looking about that? Like Kiana has tattoos, and I don't know if you'd noticed this. Nuts about the girl. Love her. Greatest thing ever.
Check
keep your... What's that? Eating. Thank you, Eating Clams. Great line.
One eternity later.
Had to check my text. By the way,
did you check
I like tattoos more than I think.
Your boy didn't do too bad, did he?
That's so creepy, man. I have to say, like, again, you can have any opinion you want with Aaron, but my God, man. And you have to be a dumb to do this live. I'm not saying doing it not live isn't dumb and gross, but I'm saying doing it live, but my God, they picked that up. Again, it sounds like your boy here, he wasn't just probable cause as far as streams. You know, like I said from the beginning, there was something in the probable cause warrant. If you go back and you read it, the way that they address familiarity with Aaron, it seemed like more. Like it wasn't saying I'm familiar with them because they ran this show. It felt like there was more there. I was like, that's kind of something, you know. And then when you read through again, statements again part of the process. I believe that we will find out a lot more, depending, I guess, one way or the other. When the case is over, we'll find out everything, I'm sure. But if you end up going to trial, we'll find it out for sure either. But if he's not one of the quoted anonymous sources, he definitely went in and spoke to the police about all that. You can just see it on this. You can see it all over it. I mean, doesn't it read like that to you? Like when you look at it again? So, you know, the reason I say that is because, again, dude he's aware of how PC was obtained. And if he's a source for that, it's even worse for him. Because, you know, they're going to want to come after him hard. They're going to come after him, first of all, for personal reasons, of course. But also because he would be a witness on what a lot of this hinges on. And his behavior out there. You know, this doesn't just go after his credibility. His credibility, you know, his statements before, credibility, I thought of a few scenarios where he could have some real problems depending on, you know, depending on how the judge is in this case. Aaron could have some real issues. He could, especially, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, the worst case scenario for someone like him is, I don't know, when he talked to them, I don't know if he just went up there to, you know, inform, and if he went up there just to inform, like he's incriminated himself on quite a bit, you know, and especially, it's not just, oh, well, I use substances, because, you know, again, there's been discussions about that, like, you'd have to imprison every actress that's ever talked about that stuff. That's not what I mean. But he's talked about, you know, like child endangerment stuff. He's put himself in a bad position for a lot of things. Like, you know. But he's opened himself up to, again, they'll go after his credibility hardcore. And then doing something like this is the stupidest thing you do. You're going to go and get yourself in trouble for something like that? Okay. So
Men Public Records release is about the child protection case on May 28th. Nick asked the judge if you could get charged with contempt of court for broadcasting his arraignment hearing. Like me or anybody, because a bunch of people his arraignment hearing was rebroadcast by a load of people. Everybody was playing clips from that. Did he really try to do that? I mean, don't get me wrong. He's been trying to, like, he's been flirting with witness tampering with a few different people. Like,
flirting with witness tampering. Now he says with a few different people, but he's including himself into that statement, fascinatingly enough. You know, he's been flirting, witness tampering, witness intimidation. I mean, Okay.
He's been flirting with it a lot. Like, he's really the public him versus the stuff that comes out in these records. It's two different guys. How nervous he is and how scared he is versus what he tries to play. Oh, just me trying to snitch on you for rebroadcasting the arraignment after 50 other people did it first. So he does think about me. Aw, my old buddy.
See, I think, like I said, I think there's personal portions of that work in, sure, for sure. But it's also, again, one of the first things that you do in every court hearing imaginable is you go after people's credibility. And you also, I mean, if they end up, you end up hitting them with law violation. If they could make that stick, yes, that would be ooh, yeah, gotcha, sock it to you, of course, on the personal level. But again, that just chips away at you. I mean, I'll let him tell his story. Again, I've seen interviews. I would want to ask certain questions. Again, not being a dick or, anything else. Again, his statements is, but I thought about being like, yo, you going to come on? We talk about this stuff. Now, I don't know. I've been torn on that. I don't want to end up in a court. I don't want to be drug into a courtroom. Like, I'm more worried about that. I don't want to be like, yo, this was said on there. Let's bring in people to talk about it. Yo, no, I don't need that in my life. I don't want it in my life. Just being transparent about it. I'm not discussing this behind the scenes. I messaged to see how things were going. Because, again, I'd hoped with everything that came up about addiction, I very much want someone that I know to get help. I'm curious how it's going to play out too. I'm actually curious if you're going to go to court and fight, or because my gut says they're definitely trying. Yeah, I mean they're trying every avenue they can, of course, to whittle things down. But it just feels like from certain statements I heard. And again, that is all speculation, by the way. It's just from knowing Nick. Nick is one of the most stubborn people I've ever met. I don't mean that in a negative or a positive way. I'm just saying, like, that can be a very positive quality. It can be a very negative quality sometimes, depending on what you're facing. And I don't know what, behind the scenes, again, the government, you could have an ironclad case, and we've seen it many a time. Like, they have to be able to prove it. They have to have everything in there. I've thought of some scenario. I was like, man. Again, for Aaron, man, I don't even know if everything would be great for Aaron in that, too.
Once the trial starts, all the bigger streamers will start covering the polycule. Don't be left behind, says McBuster. We'll see.
Oh, right.
Wow, Snick.
We'll see. We'll see. If this goes to trial, I don't know what the we'll see is about. Like we'll see if everybody else is going to cover it. Yeah, a lot of people would cover it. We'll see if Aaron's going to cover. Oh, come on, man. You know the answer to that. Aaron would be all over that. In the first interviews, when people would talk about perception of him, again, perception has changed. You can just see it in commentary. But when they would talk about it, and I'd be like, oh, well, he's going out here and setting the record straight. Oh, okay. But it didn't feel like, he almost felt proud. And, I was like, why? Some of that stuff I would not want to talk about. Well, what do you keep calling Kayla his baby? I don't know, man.
You understand that I went into the Candy, Ojai County Police Department because I was a suspect.
See, he's telling you, but he's like, well, I went in because I was a suspect. Huh? I went into the process. I went in. So, how's that sound to you? Like, I had people being like, don't speculate on him being one of the sources, Tug. Don't speculate, huh? Is that clear enough for you, kids? I went in because I was one of the suspects. Actually, you weren't. You weren't because you weren't there. Your name could have been brought in. But, no, that... So if you're looking at that, being like, yo, he never talked to the police. That umbrella, yeah, okay. That whole statement about Rekieta and everything. Anyway, he was like, Rekieta just tried to rat you out. He tried to dime you out. It's like, didn't you do that too? You know, I mean, again, you know, if he went in and had an interview with the police, you realize there'd probably be recordings of that. More than likely, if they did, if they sat down and actually gave statements.
You know, were you just like getting groceries that day? Were you doing
On the day of the arrest? I wasn't around. Like I said, I think he's a source. I very much think that. When it's time and all of this gets discussed, we would definitely find that out. We would definitely find it out. And that's, like I said, it's just going to be fascinating because the Aaron portion of it. Like if Aaron's going in, you know, his whole thing has been, I'm not mad and vindictive because this guy stole my wife. You know, I went in because I was a suspect. Yeah, that's why I talked to the police and I told them everything. It's like, okay,